More fishing tournament cheaters? Really? These walleyes are all bent out of shape, and the fat bottom girls are coming out to play.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
We've got more alleged cheating going on in fishing tournaments, except for this time, instead of using lead weights to make their fish heavier, these folks were allegedly trying to make their fish smaller for a shot at winning $10,000. I'm gonna bust out the old trusty laptop on this one to make sure I don't misquote things. But according to a write-up from New Wave Fishing Academy, there's this big Northern Pike tournament trail in Ontario that recently held a derby, over 10K up for grabs for first. It's a length-based tournament. Apparently there's a slot limit on one of the zones of one of the lakes, so that folks were only allowed 2 fish out of their limit to be over 61 centimeters long, about 24 inches. The rest of their limit had to be under 61 centimeters long. So of course that means that they would want their unders, those fish under 61 centimeters, to be as big as possible without going across the line. So apparently 2 different teams were suspected of cutting the tails on their fish to make them shorter so that they wouldn't cross the line. Allegedly. But this first one looks about as blatantly obvious as it could be that fish's tail had been altered at some point in time. I mean, look at those crisp, straight lines you could only get with the scissors.
Give me the scissors.
Northern pike tails don't look like that, and that fish somehow is magically just under the slot. This is one of the other ones that is suspected of being altered. And the team looks like they allegedly maybe took a little bit more care, a little more effort into cutting that tail to not be quite so obvious and look more natural. Allegedly. That write-up also said, due to speculation of tail cutting incidents prior to the classic tournament, officials were directed to take photos of each catch on the measuring board for review if necessary. They also said that perhaps these fish were caught with tails cut from other anglers in the past, but that would be an unlikely situation, and that within the weeks following the event, polygraph tests will be conducted. And it sounds like they're still trying to get those set up with days and times that work with the innocent until proven guilty parties. Yeah, I guess just another thing to keep an eye out for when you're fishing in your local derby for $10,000. Number 2. Now here's a couple of fish that definitely wouldn't need any altering to be shorter than they probably should be. This first one's coming from Bob Kirkpatrick on Facebook. He caught this walleye out of Tobin Lake that is all sorts of bent out of shape. Funny enough, his buddy caught the exact same fish just 6 days later on the same spot. Catch and release worked, baby. But tell me that fish isn't shaped just like a Berkley Fusion 19 slow turn hook. Look at that, voluptuous curves on each of those things. And I'm not sure if this is the same fish yet again, but Rob Penner caught and posted this fish 3 years ago out of the same body of water. Can you imagine trying to fillet or clean one of those things? I mean, maybe that's why people were letting that thing go every time. Number 3. I know I said muskies weren't eating all of your walleyes, but this one caught by Gord Pfizer's grandson Liam must have been trying to make up for the rest of its buddies. I mean, how big of a freaking muskie does it have to be to try to take down a 29-inch walleye? Anytime I see a fish that's all mangled up on one side, chewed up more on one side than the other, I always picture the culprit of that attack being like this snub-nosed muskie sent in by Target Walleye reader Josh Sorry, Josh. Josh Reichner? Target Walleye reader Josh. By the way, that's not the only time Josh and his buddies ran into old Snubby. Look at all these different other times it's been caught over the years. Again, more proof that catch and release works. Number 4. You can keep your pumpkin spice because this fatty right here is the definition of fall. No offense, Bobby. That's Captain Bobby Green of Meals on Reels Charters, who caught that insanely paunchy Lake Erie specimen running Walleye Nation Creations Reapers on the Western Basin. Suddenly, I've got this jam stuck in my head.
Oh, you gonna let it all hang out, fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round.
Lake Erie is absolutely loaded with fat bottom girls, and if you didn't know, the Lake Erie Fall Brawl and the Walleye Slam competitions are coming up. For just $35 or $40, you can enter them and fish through, I think it's December 3rd, and you weigh your heaviest walleye you catch during that time frame, your one heaviest fish, and you have a shot at bringing home like one of 4 boats or something they're giving away, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars off of a $35 or $40 ticket. Man, if I had any inkling that I would be meandering about 16 hours away from home between now and Christmas or whatever, I would get a ticket just in case. And you know, it'd be pretty cool to have something like that going on around here in Minnesota. Number 5. This has to be the coolest walleye tournament trophy ever. Forget plaques, forget little trophies, forget giant checks. Look at this. Yes, this is a trophy. It went to the team who caught the biggest walleye at the Sunset Bay Walleye Shootout on Lake of the Woods. I believe this is a picture of the actual winning fish. And man, that trophy though, it's so glorious. That's the type of thing you could base an entire man cave around. Build that whole thing around that one centerpiece. But if that's a traveling trophy, which I think it is, you sure as heck better win it the next year again too. That wraps up this week's top 5. A big shout out to Seafoam for keeping us running smooth and making this video series possible. If you want more walleye related content like this, sign up for free Target Walleye emails at targetwalleye.com, and I'll see you back in 7.